What's up, y'all? It is Childlike Kate here with a new video. In today's video, we are discussing my recent move to LA. Why I decided to move to LA, what led to me going there, what's going on. Also, as you can see by the title, I just got my first software engineering job. So in this video, I'm going to be letting you know what company I will be working for and how I got my first sweet roll. So if you want to get the tea on the recent happenings in the life of Childlike Kate, just keep watching. Okay, so first let's talk about my move to LA. I mentioned in a previous video how I had no intentions on moving back to LA. So the plan was that I would just go there to visit for a couple of months and visit the fashion district and kind of get some things done for a business idea that I was working on at the time. But I had an apartment in Atlanta and I did not have a job anymore, so I was like, okay, well, I'm still gonna have to pay my rent, so I'm going to put my apartment on Airbnb just for the couple months that I'm gone, and then when I come back to Atlanta, you know, I still have my apartment and a place to live. Well, that did not work out because I listed my apartment on Airbnb on Thursday, got it booked for a couple weeks. Monday morning, I wake up to an email at 7 a.m. that was like, you gotta go, we're terminating your lease. So I had to move out of my apartment. They actually wanted me out in a week, which I guess is their standard for people who do rent apartments just to put them on Airbnb and are not communicating that with the property managers or the leasing office, whatever. But I explained to them that that was not my intention when I moved in, and that I do actually live in the apartment and I was just going to be gone for a little while, so I put it up. So I asked them if they could at least give me until the end of the month. The property manager was very kind and she honored my request to have to the end of the month. So I had 2 weeks to figure out what the heck I was going to do, and I was going to be homeless. I really had no choice but to either move back in with my mom, or since I was planning to be in LA, to just go to LA and stay there until further notice. So that's really the reason that I moved there without ever wanting to move back to LA. Since 2018, I have been on a journey of trying to get into the software engineering career field path. You know, just trying to figure that out. I started off with a boot camp, got distracted, got behind, couldn't finish, and then having really no coding experience and working with a top-down approach was not cutting it for me. I was so confused. I ended up not finishing the boot camp, and I decided to go on a path of self-teaching. So I was going through the Odin project, and it was just taking me a really long time, especially since I was working. So it was really easy to get off work, working a 10-hour shift, and then make the excuse of being too tired to code, which really, I really wanted it, so I should have just did it. But that's easier said than done. Like, willpower and discipline. Okay, life coach me. Anyway, in my job, I eventually became eligible for tuition reimbursement, and I thought, wow, they will cover for me to get a computer science degree. So I decided to go back to school. And while studying computer science in school, I was learning much better because in a degree path or degree learning system curriculum, yeah, in pursuing a degree in computer science, the way that you're taught is from the bottom up. So they really give you a good foundation of programming before, and problem solving and algorithms before you really like start coding. So I was learning a lot better. Unfortunately, I couldn't finish. I was almost done with the summer semester when I found out that I would no longer be receiving financial aid. I had basically reached my cap because I already have a bachelor's degree, and this would have been my second bachelor's degree. One, I couldn't afford to pay out of pocket, but two, actually I probably could have afforded to pay out of pocket because I was living at home. Actually, no, I had moved out by that time. I had just moved out, so I didn't have any, like, I had money to spare to be paying out of pocket for a degree. I go into more details about this in the video where I talk about why I quit my computer science degree, and I'll link that in the cards, whichever side that comes up on. Honestly, I felt like I was getting so much friction and resistance with trying to pursue engineering that I was questioning, okay, is this what I need to be doing? I took that time to look at some other options, and being out of work, not having a home, I thought about how I wanted to like lean into this influencer path. It's something that I have been wanting to do for a while, but just continue to let other things get in the way and make excuses for like not posting. Also, I'm an introvert and I'm private, so like it's hard to balance wanting to share and like wanting to keep my business and like stay to myself. But I decided I wanted to lean into it, and I was just trying to figure out like exactly how. And that's kind of how I got back into making YouTube videos, and I started with the one on changing my life. I'll link that in the cards. So I decided I was gonna pursue like becoming an influencer. I hate to say that, but yeah, that's what it was. But at the same time, it's like, well, I don't have a job, and though I'm not paying rent right now, I'm staying with a family member in California, and if I go back to Georgia, I'm gonna just be moving back into my mama's house, so I ain't gonna have rent there. But I can't just live in her house and not be doing nothing. So I'm like, what are we gonna do here? So while in LA, I decided to just research some entry-level jobs and things that I was interested in, because I said from this point forward, I don't want just a job that just pays the bills and that I hate going to every day. The jobs that I have been doing: customer service, retail. My most recent job was in insurance. I didn't hate it, it was tolerable, but I didn't love the work, and after a year I was becoming like burnt out and over it because it's not what I really wanted to do. And I worked in claims, so I had to talk to people every day, and as an introvert, it was really draining for me, and I hate it. So anyway, I look up entry-level jobs, and I decided to look in entertainment and fashion. So I filled out a lot of applications, and I heard back from none of them. I was just feeling this pressure that I needed to like figure out what I was doing. So a month or two passed, and I decided to just type in entry-level jobs again. And this is how we came upon the job that I am getting ready to start. So now let's discuss my new job. I put in the Google search entry-level jobs Los Angeles, and I was actually anticipating to find more stuff in entertainment and things like that. But the first 3 jobs that popped up on Google were for entry-level software engineers, no experience needed. I said, I know you lying. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. This is not real. I saw this for a company called Revature. Well, first I click on it, look at the description of the job, and they were hiring for engineers, but it said no coding experience required. So before I even do the application, I was like, let me look this up, because I don't know. Before I could even like just type in the search, as soon as I finished typing Revature, scam is the next thing that pops up. So you know people are questioning what's going on here. But I have watched videos and I read reviews, and most people were saying don't do it. So I go on their website, do more research, and the more I watched and listened to these reviews, the more I started to think, well, it doesn't sound like a scam. It just sounds like it's not what you wanted to do. Like it didn't work for your situation. But me, a single woman in her 20s with no children, no dependents, no home, no job, it wouldn't be a problem for me to move to Virginia, get paid $9 an hour to learn the thing that I have been trying to learn for the past 3 years, and then get placed in a job making at least a little bit more actually than what I was making at my last job. I don't see the cons here. So I said, I'm gonna go ahead and fill out the application, go through the process, and you know, what's the worst that could happen? So I fill out the application, and within like 24 hours, I want to say like 24 to 48, but I think it was closer to 24, I get an email from somebody with Revature, Wow, that was literally the next day. And then the day after that, they was not wasting no time. Okay, so I received an email from the talent acquisition team inviting me to do a technical evaluation. The email also, you know, just thank you for your application, blah, blah, blah. And it has some quick tips for what you need to complete the application or the evaluation, and a study guide. The evaluation needed to be done within 72 hours. So I took the first day to look over the study guide they provided, and they let you know ahead of time what's going to be on the evaluation, so you can prepare not only with the study guide, but if you wanted to look at your own materials. So I did my application at night. I decided I was going to look over the material and take the test the next day, but I waited until the end of the day to look over the material. So I didn't want to do the evaluation the same day. I waited until the next morning to do the evaluation. I looked over the study guide that they provided and I took notes, looked over those notes before going to bed. I woke up the next morning and took the evaluation first thing that morning. So like an hour or two after taking the evaluation, I received a call from someone else at Revature saying, hey, we got your application and we're so excited that you decided to apply to work with us. We see that you haven't done your evaluation yet, so we just want to call and check on you, see if you're still interested, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, actually, I just took the evaluation like an hour ago. And the person was like, oh yeah, let me see here. And they went and looked in their system and saw that I completed it. And we're like, okay, great. Well, the technical team will review this and you'll be getting a call within the next 24 to 48 hours. I'm pretty sure I got a call the same day. Within an hour or two of that, I received a call from the technical recruiter. And we basically had a conversation about why I was interested in Revature, why I was interested in software engineering, and how I kind of got on the path to software engineering. He asked me how I thought I did on the evaluation, and I was like, honestly, I think I could have done better. And he was like, actually, you did very well. You scored at about the level that people with computer science degrees do, so yeah, you did just fine. We'd be happy to have you. So we talked a little more, and he told me that he would be scheduling an interview with a hiring manager and they can answer more questions about working for Revature. I asked the technical recruiter a few questions about how it works and any doubts that I had after watching the YouTube videos and reading reviews. I kind of cleared all that out with the technical recruiter, and he helped paint the full picture for me. But it was basically what I thought, that it's really not a scam. It's just it either works for you or it doesn't. So the technical recruiter set up an interview with a hiring manager for the following day, and we actually had some like technical difficulties with the phone and like not being able to hear, but he did call me back a couple times and we got it together, and we just had a quick chat. Like that little mess up knocked us off. We were supposed to have like a 30-minute talk or interview. It took us like 15 minutes to get on the phone, so we like went through it pretty quickly. And he pretty much just asked about the same questions: why I was interested in Revature and why do I think I would be a good fit for Revature, things like that. And by the end of the call, he said, okay, well, I'm gonna email you an offer letter. We talked about the contract, and that would come after signing the offer letter if I decided to move forward. Yeah, and so nothing in the process really scared me off, honestly. So to go into details for those who don't know or haven't heard about Revature or look them up, anything like that, Revature is a company that hires people to go into tech. They will train you and pay you for that training, and then place you with one of their clients to hone your skills and basically get experience in the field. You sign a 2-year contract, and the first year they pay you about $45,000 to $55,000 a year, and then your second year of the contract, your pay goes up $15,000. You may be required to move to a totally different place once you are assigned a client. There is no guarantee that you get to stay in whatever like region that you're in, and you can't really plan for it. I did ask that question in my interview, like, can I say, oh, I prefer to be on the West Coast? And he was like, no, we don't really have control over it. So I was already in knowing this information, but let me tell you how good God is and why the situation works for me even more. Because during the time of training, you would have to relocate to one of their training facilities, which are in like 4 different cities in the US, like Reston, Virginia, Orlando, Florida. Cannot remember the other 2. And during that time, you are paid minimum wage based on that city. Oh, I think one of the other cities is New York. So if you go to do training in Reston, Virginia, you're paid like $8 or $9 an hour, same as Florida. If you go to do your training in New York, you would be paid $15 an hour, only for the training period. And then once you're placed on your job, then your salary goes to whatever is set, and based on the location that you're sent to. If the client that you are hired to work for, or assigned to, if they are in a lower cost of living city, then you would get the $45,000 annually. And if it's a higher cost of living city, then you would get the $55,000 annually. Okay, so now back to me, my story. With COVID, all training is from home, and you're paid minimum wage for where you live. So I get paid for training the minimum wage of Los Angeles County, which is $15 an hour. If I was still in Atlanta when I went through this hiring process, I would be getting like $8.50 or $9 an hour, which I'll admit I was fine with when I thought that's what I was gonna get, and I thought I was gonna have to move. But I got a blessing that I wasn't even expecting or looking for. Just, we'll call it favor, honey, because I don't have to move anywhere. I can stay where I'm at. I can come home for the holidays and still work, and I get paid $15 an hour. So shortly after signing on and everything, they sent us an email about a welcome call, a voluntary welcome call, if you want to just come on and get more information about how the whole process is going to work, and to ask any questions that you may have. One of the people that was on the call during my session asked, are clients hiring employees to work remotely? And he said yes, most of them are. So I could get all this training, get paid minimum wage for Los Angeles County, and never have to leave Los Angeles County, even once I get assigned a client. Like, that is likely right now, and I'm praying that it don't change come 2022. Training for me starts on December 6th, and it'll go through about mid-February. So I'm hoping that the client I get assigned to has their engineers working from home, even the contractors, and I won't have to go anywhere. That's actually one of the things that the hiring manager asked me about. He's like, well, you may be required to move anywhere, and you just relocated across the country to Los Angeles, so would you be open for that? And I'm like, yeah, because technically I'm really not settled down in Los Angeles. I'm living with a family member, and back in Atlanta, I would be living with a family member. I don't have a home. I'm homeless. So I didn't say all that, but I let him know that yes, it would be fine because I'm living with a family member. So it would be easy for me to relocate if I needed to. I wouldn't have to break a lease or anything. This talk was kind of all over the place, but all in all, I wanted to say that the situation works for me. And had I gone only off of the reviews that people were leaving online, or the YouTube videos that people are making, other engineers talking about Revature, I would not have this opportunity. I would not have gone forward with it. I would have let it scare me out of what could be my next. Because honestly, had I gone through with the boot camp or finished my computer science degree, I may have still struggled to find a job afterward. With Revature, they are basically placing you on a job to get you 2 years of experience. So again, where are the cons? Like, if you're making more than minimum wage in another field and you're trying to switch to engineering, and maybe you already have the knowledge, of you already have the skills needed to be an engineer, but you need help getting a job, you may not be willing to take a pay cut to minimum wage during the time that they're trying to get you placed with a client. So yeah, really, you have to do your own research. You have to vet everything for yourself. If there's anything that you want to do, go for it. Don't watch a bunch of reviews and YouTube videos and let other people talk you out of something. I am actually still leading into this influencer thing, and I feel like sharing my journey with Revature and with software engineering is going to be a big part of it. So you'll be hearing more about my experiences with Revature. I plan on uploading weekly videos for each week of training, and maybe the staging portion as well, to kind of recap on how things are going and let you know the process all the way through. And if there's somebody who sees this or sees my videos later and they're thinking about if they want to go through Revature, they really get a clear understanding of what it is. So with that being said, I'm gonna stop rambling. I'm gonna close out this video because I really don't know where this is going at this point. Thank y'all so much for watching. Please, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see what's going to happen on this journey and any other happenings in the life of childlike Kate. Love you, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.